Alright, welcome back to Super Sentai Review, episode number 481. We're here reviewing episodes 32 and 33 of Boonboomger, along with ToQger Returns movie. Yeah, and the place was some of that movie, we'll talk about in a minute. So, in 32, by Sunoku, and of course Deez was there, and of course they banded him up, and just by sheer coincidence, he took him to train tracks. You're thinking, why the heck were they train tracks? I have no idea. But then of course they're arguing, and then all of a sudden, we see the return of Akadra. ToQger 6. Which, by the way, here's a fun fact about this particular character at this point here. This is the first time that anybody has seen this actor play this character since the film where you had Ninjanger vs. ToQger, which was released in 2016. So this was his very first appearance in 8 years. Yes, 8 years. And he does not transform in the episode. The reason I read he wanted to show off his physicality, even though he didn't do a lot in the episode. So basically, get out instead of go just fighting, and of course, he's thinking, oh, let's set up this the best way possible. By sumo wrestling. Yep. Let's have him sumo wrestle for a while. Yep. So, I guess because they're neurotrained, so let's basically make a train monster. Which I'm sure for a fact this is basically the whole idea of this is based upon, well, ToQger. Though the whole thing with the running train thing, with his train tracks, it actually reminds me of Steam Train Mask from Go Ranger. Yeah, I thought this was interesting. He goes running around and touch people and becomes basically like a train. First is basically the Cedars, and then it's basically random people, and then Joe, and then of course Maria and Bumblebee basically get a chance to even come up with this. Heck, even if they're in everybody, and they're on for quite a while, and basically you have Sunoco and Seiko and, well, Toya basically shut up about, and then here comes Right completely out of nowhere. Yes. Right, another guy who would basically, this is technically his most recent experience to date. It only came out just last year, and it only been 8 years since the actor been seeing the show on the franchise. Well, yeah, they've had Toku 1 basically pop up and their stuff, but mostly put transform, but not the actor. We'll get to that. So, then thanks to Ticket, yes, Ticket makes a return. Another character who has not been seen in 8 years. Yeah, he's not been seen since their team movie with Ninjanger. So, they free everybody from the coupling, and the course team transforms. Payback for... And by the way, Right is transformed almost this entire episode. Well, I'm not particularly sure the reason why. So, we'll get to that. So, then, basically... So, they eventually destroy the monster. It goes giant size. And of course, like in the case of what happened with the Go Under episode, we bring in the mech from ToQger here. Except not the cockpit. Yeah. The cockpit's not here. You're thinking, what? If you've seen this episode, like, where's the cockpit? And why isn't this thing comes to the floor? Well, there is a reason why it's not here. And here's the reason. Because apparently after the team-up movie with Ninjanger, they dismantled the set and never bothered to build the damn thing. You're like, what? They dismantled it? Yeah, they did. They dismantled it from what I read. Oh, and the reason why Akira does not transform here? The reason why I read is because he wanted to show his physicality. He doesn't do much in this episode, aside from the fact you see him. He's probably never fan service. It would have been nice, basically, if they got him to transform one more time. Like, it is something that both of them appear here. My guess is probably... I'll get to stuff later on what relates to that. So, then, of course, they have where Boonboomger is piloting the ToQger mecha. Yep, and eventually destroy the monster. And then Wright disappears. He leaves the mech. And then he untransforms. And the only time we see the actor the whole episode. Now, I don't know exactly what exactly happened here with this. Like, I'm glad the fact they brought back Jun Satsun to play, of course. He's the one who plays Right. I love the fact they brought the character back here. But I am kind of like, okay, you brought him back here. But why the brief scene? And of course, like, he doesn't explain, oh, he's Toku 1. Yeah, it's like basically they kind of rushed. Yeah. So, my theory of what happened here is that, unlike in the case of the tribute for, I like the episode feature return of, well, Sosuke, that felt like it was pre-planned. Like, the guy had a good time. This one felt like a bit of a last-minute thing. Yeah, and the whole idea of the 30-second episode with the team up with the series that came out 10 years prior is a nod to ToQger with ToQger. Not a bad idea for that one. Okay, so the reason why was because of his schedule. Okay, but that it doesn't really explain why Akira doesn't transform in the episode. Yeah, it just not really sure exactly why. Also, apparently, when they filmed the episode 32 of ToQger last year, the actor who played Akira, Shin Nagama, had just turned 29. Oh, he celebrates 29th birthday different from me to ToQger, so that means he's probably 40. Yep, he's 40 years old now. So I'd say by the time they aired this episode last year, he probably was 38 years old. And from what I can tell anyways, the man didn't age at all. Not really, no. In the case of Wright's actor, well, yeah, his hair was shorter. Yes. Also, apparently, he left the agency he was part of when he was working ToQger. He left a couple years ago. Birthday. So, let's see. The 7th episode of this one aired in, I think it was 2013, I think it was. Yeah, I think it was 2014 because I think, let's see, it was 23? This was 2014. Yeah, 2014. So, yeah. So that means that last year he's basically 29. Yeah. But it was nice the fact that they did this. So here's a question. No, they do explain in the episode, like he actually does the whole ToQger change, which I thought was quite cool. The fact they did it. Now, why at this point was this one, aside from the fact, yes, they did the same thing in the previous series, where they brought back a previous team in the 32nd episode to make a guest star appearance? My guess is the reason why ToQger is brought back here because 10th anniversary of the series. Yeah, 10th anniversary. Well, probably because it's been 10 years since the show aired. Well, since they aired the first episode. But here's the weird thing. Unlike in the case of ToQger, where they later on did a movie where they hit with the actual full team itself, this one, no, they never did. Yeah, it's like basically there was a missed opportunity to do a movie where they could have had a team up with this actual team. Would have been quite nice, but no, they don't. Yeah. Well, it was nice to see. But here's the thing. What about the rest of the cast? Were they simply just unavailable? Like, I'm glad to see ToQger. I'm glad to see him. I'm glad to see Kira. And, of course, well, at least in the case of ToQger, basically it's reasonable because of scheduling. Excuse me, but were the rest of the cast simply unavailable to appear in this episode? I think it'd still be really cool if they have a team up with the full team. I would say they kind of mostly did it in the ToQger episode, anniversary episode. This one, well, yeah, but I had heard also for ToQcast. Well, one of the guys basically with that one, he was actually in Japan. He actually watched this episode aired live when it was released last year because he was in Japan at that point. The episode was what I say is as good as the tribute episode for ToQger for Boonboomger. No, not really. That was awesome. I love that one because of course you actually Sosuke for more than just a couple minutes. Now, I am not going to blame the episode for the lack of seeing the actor. Like, it's great the fact I got a chance to do it, but there was a reason why. Scheduling. Faults I have with the episode, aside from that, I couldn't have returned the rest of the team for some weird reason. Heck, not even Wagon makes appearance here, or even the conductor. Like, were they simply unavailable? Kira was nice the fact I just see him again. But I kind of wish they would have had him transform here. Like, that would have been quite cool. Unlike in the case with Sosuke, where they simply just brought back him and of course about the Golden Wings for a one-off special. But this is another one, basically, I kind of felt as though Boonboomger should have done a team-up with the full team. That would have been really cool. But, alas, no, that didn't happen. There is actually one more team-up with another Sentai Ranger that happens later on. I'll talk about that when I come back from my break from the series. But, I don't think 32 is not... It's not bad, per se. It's just that I felt as though the episode felt... Watching it felt a bit rushed. It's like, oh... Because it's 10th anniversary of ToQger, let's do this. By the way, no 10th anniversary movie. Nope, none. Don't know the reason for it. Like, last year would have been perfect to do a 10th anniversary movie, but nope. The only anniversary movie that came out apparently last year was it was like 30 years of Kaku Ranger. Yep. But then next we're gonna before we talk about episode 33, let's talk about ToQger Returns, which has a subtitle with it known as Super Toku 7 of Dreams. So, this film was released in 2015, roughly 4 months after the after ToQger ended. And they started from the year of 2025, where basically the actors look pretty much the same as they do, even if they actually, because well they're older. Yeah, they're probably in their 20s, obviously, like currently the actors are right now, with the exception of Akira, who's probably like pushing 40 right now. Um, though I should point out that when this movie came out, there's no mention of COVID, nothing. Like, if this thing did come out in 2025, you probably would see a person or two wearing a mask. Yeah. But it's like, you could think of this movie as a possible future with no COVID. No bullcrap stuff related to that. So it's like, yeah, they apparently lost their imagination when they got older, which I'm like, how the heck they lose imagination just because of elementary school? And then, of course, they see the return of the Shadow Line. First time in 10 years they've been seen. And this version is led by Archduke Hell. He's with cloth soldiers. And it's like, oh, you're ToQger. It's like, no, not ToQger because I don't have an imagination. But apparently they do have their morphers. Yeah, they still have those. Later on they actually have them, except they just can't use the trains for some reason. No imagination. So, and then they fall back in time to the year of 2017. Which is interesting. So that means that chronologically, the most of this movie is set a year after the team up with Boonboomger. Yes, because that was released in 2016. This is basically 2017. It's like, oh, they're about to graduate elementary school. By the way, this movie has no mention of the team up with Boonboomger in this movie. Well, I can kind of think of the reason why there's no mention of it. Because this movie was released a year prior to a team up movie. Yeah. You're like, what? Yeah. This is 100% completely true. They actually, well, because the movie was released in 2015, and despite the fact, yes, chronologically, this movie is set, the main flashback is set after the team up stuff. They did with of course, Boonboomger. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of interesting where, yeah. And the reason why I can kind of think of why, because the movie wasn't made yet. They come off until like the year later during the course of the show. I think it was released, after the show was released, but it's set during the course of the show. So then, of course, basically the whole thing is about all the imagination stuff. Okay, it was released on January 23rd, 2016, so it's roughly 6 months later. They released this movie. Mm-hmm. Yep, I was right. It does take place before. It takes place in between that period of time, which you could think of basically this movie as sort of the in-between, the team movie in this one and the Wright's appearance in Boonboomger. So then, of course, they see the kid version themselves, by the way, the same actors, which good on basically the production for bringing back the kid actors who only appeared in like one or two few episodes of the show. And like, oh look, the future version themselves, despite the fact they did look like that during the show, which I get the fact, yes, they look like those when they get older. Also, Blue, I kind of forgot some of these people's names. I'm sorry about that. Where Haru has ditched his glasses for contacts. Yeah. He says the reason why because I think glasses are lame in the year 2025, which I'm like, that's freaking bullcrap. Given the fact people do still wear glasses. So he has contacts, but don't worry. He does put glasses back on later on, and well, and so yeah, and then of course they meet the kid first themselves. They do transform to fight with the Kangs. Luckily, they can't take on the cloth soldiers like the cloths, no problem. But it's basically Archduke Hell basically is too difficult for them because they're in kid bodies. They need their adult bodies. Okay, I can kind of buy that. So then, of course, basically, they're able to summon the... Of course, when they go back on the train, even though it had been 2 years since the show ended, so Wagon has been made conductor. And what happened to the actual conductor? Well, it's not revealed exactly. Well, it's obviously he became Toku 7 because they show him off later on, where he has no weapons. He apparently just uses martial arts. Okay, fine. So, yeah, he basically does of course, it's obviously him. It's like, oh, my identity's a secret. Yeah, it's a conductor. It's obviously him. And of course, also in the movie, because it's a Returns movie, let's bring back 4 of the generals from the Shadow Line from the show, but not Emperor Zet. You're like, really? No Emperor Zet here? Yeah, he is not here. He's mentioned several times, but no appearance by him. Yeah, he does get briefly revived for one of the Tenchi movies, but in this, nope, no appearance by him. Not even a flashback, which I thought that was kind of weird. But yeah, they do have one other character return here, the actual one, because she's still alive, because she never did, she was actually revived, she just disappeared. So, brought back as puppets, General Schwartz, Madame Noir, Count, Baron Nero, and Madame Macabre, I think her name is. Yeah. The brought back as puppets, and of course they're defeated by the ToQgers easily. Marichanis Mark. Yeah. So, after they're defeated, and of course the Archduke Hal flees the future. Oh yeah, and somehow during this they regain their imagination. Akira, of course. So, this is really weird. So, his tank top that he wore the entire show, something that's never mentioned in the show, or even the return of Boonboomger, because I think they forgot this. Apparently, his tank top is a shadow monster. You're like, what? Why? Because it's black? Oh my gosh. Yeah, they made his freaking tank top a monster. And apparently it was part of him. Which I thought that was kind of weird. Apparently this monster effect with him. Yeah. And they do fight him. And apparently his weapons are called clothes hangers. I'm like, what? Yeah, clothes hangers. And eventually, of course, he's killed. And then, of course, you have Akira who doesn't wear a shirt the rest of the time. Well, he has his other shirt unbuttoned. So, then they have after they defeat the past, they have the characters with Akira. The course, pinky promise to remember each other. And, by the way, there's this thing where they basically have Right just tossed aside. Yeah, it's revealed that actually was Akira who did that because he couldn't see him because he had no imagination at that point. So somehow, thanks to being the past, they regain imagination. They go back to present in 2025, of course, where there's Archduke Hell. It's like, oh, you're ToQgers now. And then here's the kid ToQgers in the future. You're like, what the heck is going on here? And then, of course, it's revealed that the conductor is now a railway commander. And he's now Toku 7. And, of course, they all transform. They do all their poses. That was really cool. And it becomes a massive brawl by having 12 ToQgers. Though I should point out 5 of these are basic kid versions of the main ones. So they have massive brawl. The clothes monster, which was just so awesome. And then, of course, they combine the weapons to basically just defeat Archduke Hell. And that's it for the Shadow Line. Oh, and there was also a thing with Akira was the tank top monster was afraid he's getting old, but it's fine. given the fact that basically when he popped up in Boonboomger, which was released 8 years at least 9 years after the movie came out, is that the actor who plays him looks exactly the same. Yeah. And of course, basically, I love all the moments with all the characters. It's a really good movie. And movie serves as an epilogue because basically Archduke Hell, of course, Miss Greta herself does have returned to the movie where she was there just to say, oh, there's this guy called Archduke. Oh, we already know about him because, of course, basically filling the time travel stuff. And then, of course, she just sends back the present, and that's it for her. We never see her again. Yeah, Miss Greta never returns to the franchise. Nope. This was her final appearance ever in Sentai. Yeah, and then afterwards they all dance, and that's it. Yeah, this movie is served as an epilogue to ToQger, though I think in the case of their appearance in Boonboomger, that was a bonus. Yep, it was a bonus, but overall, the movie was really good. I enjoyed it. Also with that, basically, there's no more ToQger movies. You're like, what? No more ToQger movies? Yeah! Are you like, is that really the last one? Well, yes, because I have pretty much covered all the movies. So, if you're really curious, there's not much else to cover when it comes to ToQger. So, we're done with ToQger for now. I'm not doing transmission specials. Nope. Okay, so talk about 33. So, in this one, basically, Gemba, who has a message of basically, well, he got this, where basically Bunred, message for Bunred where he has to kill him. So, yeah. So, then the episode starts off with, Bun Violet using Bun Diesel to basically fight a monster, giant size, and then he decides to borrow the ToQger mech and combine with his own, make a variant. Which, like, what? Yeah, he does this, and apparently they used the cockpit from the previous episode. Yeah, the same exact cockpit. The reason for this, I guess because the cockpit was just created for that particular episode. So I guess they figured, oh, why the heck not? Mm-hmm. Oh, and the ToQger variant. Well, this will be his debut and appears one more time ever in the whole series. You're probably thinking, are they gonna have a return of more ToQger stuff in this episode? Not really. It's just that they just happen to have, well, yeah. So, by the way, they have like 3 different monsters. So, they brought back the brick monster. They brought back the wall monster as, well, a brick wall monster. Yes. Yeah, this actually is the one episode that has the most monsters. This has 3. Yeah, 3. You have the Azoka Grimer, basically makes Super Tears. I think he's a revival. No, he's original. And there's also... Oh yeah, also that Seiko was basically fighting a giant-sized version of Mad Rex. Now, as for how the heck got giant-sized, did he squeeze the Yamakar again? Don't really know. So, yeah, and by the way, Seiko basically mentioned him. Yeah, your memories are back. Why would you tell your subordinates? To protect them. Yep. So, then of course Gemba proceeds to, after thinking about it, by the way, he's no longer in his cat form, the Baka form. He's back to eating lollipops again. I guess he calmed down from his revenge stuff. So he goes back to Boonboomger headquarters, where basically after chatting with Soko for a while, he's kind of in a way back in the team. Gets his own champion, gets his own jacket, and then of course oh yeah, message from Mad Rex. Kill him so he's free from Death Race. Oh, Death Race does find out. Oh yeah, he gets memories back, so he proceeds to put a brainwash card on his belt buckle. Yes, seriously, a brainwash card on his belt buckle. So then, of course, basically they have Gemba show up, give the message after being nearly defeated by him, and then oh yeah, I'm delivering myself in this, basically the champion changer. Which is basically after they all transform, basically you have Toya attached to his own morpher, and basically this allows them to have jackets attached to their suits, and kind of makes them stronger in a way. Oh, and also whenever they touch the emblems on the jackets, they can basically copy the ability when the Boom Boom cars. I'm like, that's cool, and they basically defeat the grunts. And defeat Mad Rex. They basically have the 4 of the 5 Boomboomgers touch the back of Bunred, and he proceeds to destroy the Death Race card. And then, he basically turned back normal. But yeah, he was going to blow up anyways. And then he proceeds to fly out to space and blows up. And that's the last of Mad Rex, the whole show. Kind of a sad ending, but great we see Gemma back in the team. The new champion form. Really good episode. Yeah. But not much else to say. I'll say that for tomorrow because I'm going to play here. Yeah, not much else to say about these episodes. I think I really enjoyed them. Well, 33 I thought was okay. 33 I thought was... 32 was okay, but 33 is actually really good. ToQger Returns, ToQger 7 Dreams. I love the movie. It was awesome. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. So, got some new anime tomorrow, but no Sentai, because basically my break from Boonboomger right now. Yep, officially on break. Be back in 3 weeks. Okay? Next video. Bye.